Hello, this is Ryan Durham with Kennesaw State University's EDS in Instructional Technology Capstone video presentation. The title of my presentation is Improving Assessment with Edmodo. A little bit about me: I got my bachelor's in English education from Georgia Southern University in May 2008. My master's in Instructional Technology from Georgia Southern in May 2013, and currently pursuing my EDS in Instructional Technology at Kennesaw State. I've taught English, Health and PE, Business, and Computer Science courses. All of my teaching has taken place in Georgia. I taught at Camden County High School, North Oconee High School, and currently I'm teaching at Toombs County High School. Currently, Toombs County High School is ranked, this is all according to School Digger, number 338 out of 417. 99.6% of our students are on free and reduced lunch. We have 831 total students. We have a pretty diverse group of students. 57.6% are white, 22.3% are Hispanic, 17.25% are African American, 1.8% are two or more races, and 1.05% of our students are American Indian. Our problem is that test scores are some of the lowest in the state. Teachers do not have a streamlined method for assessment or data-driven instruction. Core content areas need formative and summative assessment strategies to improve outcomes on the Georgia Milestones exam. So we will use Edmodo to teach our staff strategies for using digital tools to improve assessment. Edmodo allows us to provide a transparent system where students and teachers work together and feedback is used to modify the teaching and learning activities in which they're engaged. Through the platform, teachers can post daily agendas, unit plans, assignments, study guides, resources, and our pre- and post assessments and polls. Data from those assessments and polls can be used to further drive instruction. And so this is the key. Not only that, but this is going to be something that teachers will be able to research, experiment with, collaborate with other teachers, and make it a engaging learning experience and process for their students, all while including administrators and parents in the process. In our current model, there is a lack of feedback. Since there's no common assessment program, assessment looks different in every class. Not only do students have limited access to teacher feedback, but also peer feedback. And this has promoted a culture of a lack of trust in peers and an over-dependency on teacher feedback. Unfortunately, teacher feedback isn't great. Peer feedback isn't great, so students really don't have an idea of where they stand compared to their peers and coming from their teachers. So Edmodo is going to give us the opportunity for students to engage in a community that allows for constant dialogue and interaction among peers. Also, Edmodo gives students that are normally non-participants in class to have a voice. So in an online asynchronous environment, students often believe that they do not have to compete for attention, so they'd be more likely to participate, and they can develop longer contributions with a strong component of self-expression. And so when students have to interact digitally, they learn new skills like digital citizenship and hear from the research and awareness of their audience, critical and collaborative engagement with context and text production, and a promotion of multiple modalities. So the project plan involved surveying teachers, unpacking standards for English, creating assessments, and providing a resource bank. As a former 9th grade English teacher who was fortunate to have great training and great success on high-stakes testing, I have plenty of resources to add to a resource bank for them. Created Edmodo Classroom for the project, build folders and add content to that as we work together in our collaborative process, provide professional development during PLC meetings, in-com and planning meetings, survey our participants, and then we will look at the data from the Georgia Milestones assessment. Our evaluation plan involves constant feedback from surveys, from PLC data analysis meetings where we would break down assignments and assessments that were given to students, see what's working, see what's not working, and then talk to the teachers after each training session. And our ultimate goal was to see the impact on the Georgia Milestone score. So everything that we do builds up to that Georgia Milestones assessment. So the Capstone experience involved planning in the summer, getting a lot of resources together, building some quizzes, building some samples. But when the school year started, we had a change in leadership and schedule. So, unfortunately, due to the new schedule, I was unable to meet with the English department, which is frustrating because I feel like I had a lot to bring to the table with my previous experience in that subject area. However, wasn't an option. But with the new schedule, I was able to get on board with the economics department. And since Econ is a Georgia Milestones tested course, it was still in line with my original goals. Big difference, though, I was preparing to deliver instruction in this capstone presentation to an entire department. Well, in this case, one teacher taught all the economics classes. So instead of working with a larger group, this is actually going to be delivered to one person. So the teacher I worked with was Mr. B. He's a veteran teacher, very knowledgeable in terms of content. He's also a coach, very successful results as a volleyball coach and a tennis coach, but his technology skill set quite limited. So a lot more one-on-one attention than the English teachers would have needed because they are a little more proficient with the use of technology. But we created an Edmodo account and customized his profile, built a class, and started looking at the options within the class, what he could offer. Light bulb moment for Coach was when we added folders and content from Google Drive and the desktop. And when he realized that he didn't have to make copies anymore, he wouldn't have to go digging for certain files on his Google Drive folder or on his desktop, he was thrilled. We also went through how to design an assignment, give an assignment, design a poll, administer a poll, build a quiz, and grade a quiz. After that, we discussed classroom management strategies that I found effective over time, how to post an agenda, how to embed links, how to add videos, and how to keep things interactive and organized. We really had a breakthrough moment when we developed a digital answer key. So for test prep, he had a stack of workbooks and a stack of handwritten student papers of 20 to 25 questions that he would take and grade by hand. Incredibly time consuming. I asked him if he'd ever considered creating a digital answer key in Edmodo. And I had never done that before, but we sat down and built a quiz that really just served as an answer repository, and it actually worked. We spent about 2 hours tweaking it, trying to figure out if it was better to use true, false, short answer, multiple choice, and I really felt like it was an innovative way to use Edmodo for our purposes, and it's something that he actually is still using today in his class, and I'm really proud of that moment that we had because we thought outside the box and kind of innovated and used that tool in a new way to help prepare his students for the exam. Coach had duty in the commons area, so every morning as I walked past, we would actually stop and meet and talk, and I'd check in and see how his classes were going, and if he had troubleshooting issues or just questions, or really it was an extra time. So not only did we meet in the planning period meetings, but we were also able to kind of talk about this. We had a common running dialogue the entire semester, and it was great to kind of not only grow closer to him, but to make sure that everything was going okay in his class. And his students were engaged because some of our students were shared, and they enjoyed the process of consistency between our two classes in terms of their quizzes and because of the content delivery. And also, he was so motivated, so excited about trying new things and seeing how much more efficient his classroom was running that he was motivated, and great results were to come. So when we looked at 2016's test scores, so the end of the semester, we got our milestone scores back for Econ. In 2016, 30% of his students were level 3 or 4. In 2017, after the implementation of Edmodo, that number grew to 45%. So we had a 15% increase on students who scored level 3 or level 4. He also wanted me to look at students who scored level 2, 3, or 4. And this was a statistic that he was really excited about. 2016, 57% of his students scored level 2, 3, or 4. And here in 2017, after using Edmodo to organize his classes and provide formative and summative assessments, he had 71% that scored level 2, 3, or 4. Although this is only 1 year, 1 semester, the results are clear. After implementing Edmodo and the classroom management and assessment strategies, Mr. B's milestone scores improved. We did not get to do as much with student interaction as we originally planned, but we talked about implementing discussion postings in the future and creating small groups built into Edmodo for differentiation. So now it's spring 2018, and Mr. B is continuing to use Edmodo in his classroom. So we're going to look at some examples of what that looks like. I have a few screenshots. Here's an example of an assignment that he posted for his students. Here you can see probably my favorite thing in the whole screenshot gallery. In the middle of the page, you see the workbook page 50 to 53 and 63 to 65. This goes back to that day where we were looking for a way to automate a process, take some busy work away from the teacher, and it really is awesome to see that he's still using that to this day. Here's a quiz, and the data breakdown from that quiz. He'll know how to go back and address those issues on questions 1, 6, 8, 9, and 10. And here's an example of him continuing to use the formative assessment and assignment features in Edmodo. So we did some work early in the year, and he's figuring out what works for him, what doesn't work. But again, here's obviously a teacher who has taken some instructional technology coaching, and he's run with it. So after working with Mr. B and him sharing what we had done together, the principal asked that I deliver a PLC training on assessment through Edmodo. And so I met with all the teachers on their planning periods and kind of went through the entire process with them and showed them some of the features and some of the things that they could do. I was actually asked by a few principals to consider applying for a curriculum specialist position, which I turned that opportunity down, but I think it did lend credibility to me as an educator and not just the guy who can fix printers and modify spreadsheets. So across campus, it sort of increased maybe my credibility and helped me grow professionally. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity. And really for the first time, I've seen tangible evidence of the powers of technology coaching. Again, my day-to-day interaction with other teachers is more on the tech side, setting up a projector, troubleshooting a problem, logging in, various things of that nature. But this is one case where students and the teacher were positively impacted, and we have numbers to prove it. And so that was a lot more rewarding than just the technical support side. I feel a little more validated maybe from an instructional standpoint than I ever imagined. And again, just really thankful for the opportunity to serve in that regard. And although we had some success, we are far from our ultimate goal of a school-wide improvement in milestone scores and a school-wide improvement in school ranking across the state compared with our peers. And so the way we do that is we advocate for this type of assessment or management across the board. And this process was kind of started in the PLC meetings, and the principal asked if we could sit down and maybe come up with a plan to roll this out, maybe department-wide and then school-wide. But that's just going to rely on the power of momentum. If Coach B can get more folks in the history department, we can work on the English department, and maybe little by little teachers will buy in, and then eventually we'll have a plan to roll out a common assessment program and kind of maybe manage it all through Edmodo. So it's a great opportunity to impact the whole entire school. We're in the early stages, but the goal is to continue to push for technology to drive our assessment practices. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.